Hey everyone, welcome back to VM Sports. I don't know if you're taking a notice to this, but we're in a different spot today. Normally I'm in my living room, as everyone knows, standing 2 feet away from my camera, but we're in a legit studio today, so I'm really happy about that. We're pumped up. My boy George is joining me today.
Yo.
He's in my fantasy football league, and we love talking about sports all the time together, so I figured I'd have him on as my first guest. I really appreciate it. He's the reason I'm even in the studio in the first place, so I really appreciate that, bro. Cheers.
You got it, man. Cheers.
All right. So this is my weekly video, Patriots, fantasy football. I've been doing this for weeks now. Everyone kind of knows the drill. So with the Patriots against the Chargers on Sunday, George and I watched that game together with a couple of our friends, and we were just going nuts. It was easily the best win of the season for the Patriots. All around, every facet of the game seemed to be clicking for them. Offense, defense, special teams. We haven't really seen a game like that. I don't even think last year, really, with Brady here.
No, never.
Maybe early in the season when they started off undefeated.
No, that was by far, in recent memory, one of the best, dominating performances I've seen by them.
Right.
Like you said, on all facets of the game, they were just clicking. And, it felt like, yo, we could make playoffs. And then it was like, wait, can we make playoffs now? It's like you wish you could see that team, perform like that in the playoffs against a decent team. I mean, that team can put up points at least, and not a bad defense. Right.
Justin Herbert is a really good player. As he's shown this year, he's a really good quarterback, and he has a future. But Anthony Lynn, I mean, he
kills them. He's been killing them since he got there.
Yeah, there's no comparison with him and Bill Belichick. He just got outmatched.
Yes.
There was no chance.
He didn't even give Herbert's a good quarterback.
Yeah. He
didn't give his guy a chance, honestly. And against Belichick, a rookie quarterback, you're going to get killed.
Right. So, Gunnar Olszewski did his thing on special teams. The defense, blocked a punt, field goal, whatever. They did all their stuff and scored a touchdown. Cam looked great, and that's definitely something I want to talk about. I really wanted to talk about this week. It's just, it seems like this guy, I can't figure it out. I love Cam. I've always loved Cam. The day he entered the league.
Right.
I've loved him in college. I loved him when he first was on the Panthers. And I really wanted the Patriots to get him. I did not want Jarrett Stidham. People that watched my videos knew that.
Right.
I legit did not want anything to do with Jarrett Stidham or Brian Hoyer. I wanted Cam Newton. I would have taken Andy Dalton over those guys.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but I love Cam Newton. But the thing is, I get it. It's tough. The Patriots aren't a good team this year. The supporting cast is awful. Like I said, they did really well on Sunday, but it's realistically, this is probably one of the weakest rosters in our lifetime for the Patriots that we've ever seen.
Right. I haven't seen us in this position in my lifetime, period.
Right.
So this is very unfamiliar.
Yeah. So it's not entirely on him, but he's also, I've been trying to think of a way to put it. It's like the last girl I talked to. It's literally like the last girl I talked to. He's on 1 week. He's off the next week. I can't figure it out. I swear.
Don't drop her name. Don't drop her name.
I promise I won't. No name drops. But I can't figure it out. He's 1 week he can't even reach 100 total yards on his own. He's turning the ball. He's getting pulled for Stidham.
Right.
And then the next week he's not turning the ball over. He's letting the defense do their thing, keeping them off the field, and they kill it. And then he scores 3 touchdowns on his own, and he looks like vintage Cam Newton.
Right.
But
it's like what Cam are you going to get today? To toss it up.
Exactly.
It's a 50-50. That's how it's been all year. It's literally 50-50 coin toss. What camera are you going to see? Either you're going to see a guy who's super efficient, doesn't turn the ball over, just moves the ball down the field, uses what he has around him, or you see the guy who just looks like he's his head cut off, doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're right. It's which guy are you going to see?
Right. It's just, and that's a big thing tonight. We play another LA team in LA, but it's a way better team. The Rams are obviously better than the Chargers.
I'm actually scared, to be honest with you. What are our receivers going to do against that secondary?
I don't know. Jalen Ramsey's tough. I mean, where would you think?
Johnson, baby. John Johnson.
Shout out John Johnson.
Give your boy Ado a shout out.
Shout out Ado, John Johnson, BC alums. We stay BC repping here. So
yeah, nasty secondary. All I got from UMass in the NFLs right now is Andy Isabella. Love Andy, but still. It's not the same as BC right now.
Shit, you guys haven't had something since Victor Cruz.
Legit. But yeah, I love the Rams as a team. I love Sean McVay as a coach. This is probably, they still play the Bills this year, but I'd say the Rams are probably a better overall team. That division's nasty, the NFC West.
Yeah.
So the Patriots have done a decent job against them this year, but it's like the comparison between the Chargers and the Rams isn't even close.
Right.
They got way better playmakers. Their quarterback, I would say, isn't as good, but their coach makes up for that, and their coach is not even close to
And at least
anything.
Goff is, like, tested.
Right.
The guy's been through playoffs, made a Super Bowl. Like, he's had to have some thick skin. Like, instead of Herbert, who is just getting tossed into a very, like, tough situational, like, team with the Patriots.
Right.
It's like, that they're ready for anything. And as a rookie, like, you're not always, like, ready for, like, those surprises that Bill could throw at you.
He's always killed the
exactly.
rookies. But for a game like tonight, I think what it's going to take is something that you kind of saw in the Super Bowl a couple years ago with the Patriots and the Rams. Like, it's going to be heavy defense, heavy special teams. The offense is just going to have to not turn the ball over, but they're going to have to rely on the defense because you're going to have to make Jared Goff make some mistakes.
100%.
Yeah, because I don't see. When did you ever think you'd hear Jalen Ramsey probably covering Jacoby Myers, like in the NFL?
Exactly, and that's our best. That's literally our best guy right now.
So it
for
makes,
receivers.
It's just we're in a really weird spot with this team. So it's definitely like maybe they could win like 16-13, 20 to I'd see 20 points max. Like the defense doesn't have to score points. Special teams doesn't have to score points again. Like they're gonna have to build off of Sunday. Thankfully, it's like really close, so they don't have much rest, but it's still like fresh.
Right.
So they're there. But
how do you feel? How do you feel about the Rams offensively, like matching up against us? Do you think that we have a chance to stay in the game just by defense and special teams?
I think you can make Jared Goff make like legit mistakes.
Yes.
He's proven that he can be a starting quarterback in this NFL. He's not worth the money he's making, but he's also not elite. So the Patriots, the way Bill thinks, he can make him make those mistakes.
Right.
They have the playmakers. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are great, and their running backs are solid too. Cam Akers is probably going to get the start tonight over Darrell Henderson.
Should have picked him up.
I traded him this week for I don't even know. It was a bag of chips in fantasy football. It was a really big mistake. Now I have to start Gio Bernard, but whatever. Honestly, it is what it is. But yeah, it's. With the plays that the Rams run, those trick plays and the slot receivers that they have, Bill would love Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods on the team. I think those are two wide receivers that he'd love, like the most in the league that aren't
100%.
on the. He loves those guys.
100%.
White receiver and a slot receiver.
He loves that.
Routes.
He loves that. But Robert Woods, I actually like. He is an underrated route runner.
Oh yeah,
really underrated.
Right. You're probably gonna have. I mean, J.C. Jackson, I know, is banged up. He got hurt in the last game. But you're probably going to see Stephon Gilmore on Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't be surprised. You could probably see some switches, but I think J.C. Jackson is built more for Robert Woods, and Stephon's built more for Cooper Kupp, which makes the most sense. And then you can just throw any safety on those tight ends. Tyler Higbee's, like, solid, but what do it's not – he's not the receivers. He's not the best tight end they've seen this year. So
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't figure it out. Like this team, if they don't win this week, it's over. I think it's probably already over, realistically.
Well, what are the chances? Let's talk about the chances. So we have to win out.
Oh, absolutely. There's no choice. There's no other choice.
This week was tough on us, even though they came out to play. Like you could tell that they wanted it.
Right.
It was good to see that fight, but then obviously like things didn't go our way with the other teams that we needed to lose. We were just talking about this,
right?
With what was it? Cleveland.
Cleveland beat the Titans. We didn't need that. So the Colts won also. They beat the Texans. We didn't need that. The Raiders had that last second win. Of course, we need the Jets one time. They can't pull it off for us. So they got to lose on a Hail Mary.
That's the most Jets thing of all time.
Literally.
We literally saw that game. It was like 30 seconds left. They finally won.
Henry Ruggs
goes all the way 50 yards from Derek Carr off a little hezzy move, and they completely bit on it. First of all, how are you all out blitzing on the last play of the game? You're up in the game. Just drop everyone back. Don't give up a touchdown.
That was horrible. I don't think Greg Williams made it to the locker room. I think he got fired on the spot, the defensive coordinator.
Did he actually?
No.
No. Oh my
But he
God.
should
I was about to
have.
say
He did get fired.
Yeah.
But
They saw that and were like, "What are you doing,
so
buddy?"
bad. And then
That's
what was the other
crazy.
one? Yeah, the Dolphins won too. Obviously, the Bengals aren't a good team. So, those teams were supposed to lose for the Patriots to have a really good chance, and they won. There's still a chance like they can lose this week. It's tough because the Colts and the Raiders play this week. We want the Colts to win because now they're the division leader. They won and the Titans lost, so they keep flip-flopping those two teams. Now the Titans are in the wild card. We would want the Titans to lose to the Jags, which realistically, that's probably not happening. So that's another
I
tough
won't hold
one.
my breath for that.
That's another tough one. The Raiders and the Colts. The Dolphins are playing the Chiefs, so that's huge because we still play the Dolphins one more time. So at the very least, the Patriots can still get the second spot in the division,
Right.
because if they can beat the Dolphins again,
What's the playoff format right now? Like, isn't it they're allowing one more team
there's
in?
one more team. Only the first seed has the bye. No 1 and 2. The
So
second
the
team,
second seed has to play
Right.
the
seventh.
The seventh. Got
Right.
it. Okay, I like that.
right?
I like
So
that a lot.
We were, at the beginning of the year, that kind of made sense, saying the Patriots might be able to sneak in, but they've had too many tough losses. If they win
Too many
out,
close games.
yeah, the Texans loss and the Broncos loss were just that
You
was
can't lose those
unacceptable.
games.
Yeah,
Those are the games you can't lose.
yeah, that could be a deal breaker. They're 6-6. If they win out, they're 10-6 to finish the season, and they could miss the playoffs, which you hate to see that.
The
but
AFC is legit this year. The AFC is nice.
Been some real surprise. I did not expect the Raiders at all with that horrible defense.
Me neither.
They're putting everyone away. It seems like I know they just played the Jets, but they've beaten some. They beat the Chiefs. They're the only team to beat the Chiefs this year. It's crazy.
They almost beat them twice.
Yeah.
That second game, I thought they had that game. They should have beat them.
Right.
Honestly, if Mahomes doesn't go down the field on that, what was it, like a 2-minute drill, went down the field, and I forget who he threw a touchdown to, but I think it was Kelsey.
I think so.
But I was like, damn, like I really thought that they had that. But the Raiders they're nice this year.
Right.
I gotta give it to them.
It's kind of like repeating 2008 when Castle was the quarterback and Brady
Right.
got hurt. You hated
I was
to
just
see.
thinking that.
They were 11-5 and they missed the playoffs. Is that like you?
I
what?
was just thinking that.
How good is like the conference?
And
there's an
you
extra
know what
team.
though? That's the crazy thing is, what's the similarity of those two Patriots seasons? Brady's
gone.
not there,
Yep.
right? So it's like, yeah, Belichick. I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but Belichick put together. If we do win out, if we do finish at 10-6, another winning season. Had some tough losses, had some great wins, but same as 2008.
Right.
Like, it just not enough to pull off a playoff spot, and the missing piece to that both times, Tom Brady.
Right.
So I think this year was very telling for the value that we had in Tom Brady. So for anyone that was questioning that, I think a lot of doubters were put to bed just off of this year's performance,
Right.
and seeing what he's doing with Tampa. I mean, it's not perfect. He's had some. He just can't get it right on primetime for
Right.
some reason.
Yeah,
But
I can't figure that out either.
overall, he's put together a really good product for this year.
Right.
When a brand new team, you got to think this is his first year with this organization, and he's already have them playing playoff football in most cases.
Right.
So
And the two teams and the two guys are going to be tied together till they're both gone. So
100%.
It's tough to see. Yeah, I mean, their records aren't that far off, but their opportunities are just it's so different. The Bucks are probably going to make the playoffs in that NFC, but the AFC it's tougher. It really is tougher. It's spread out more. The NFC is definitely top heavier.
do you know the Bucks record?
They're
right now?
7-5.
7-5. They started off 6-2.
They
They
were
kind of
something like
fell
that,
off.
yeah.
They've had some tough losses too,
Yeah.
actually.
I mean, the primetime games, people have given them fits. The teams have they lost to the Bears Thursday night football
By a point, yeah.
Yeah, the Giants gave them trouble. It's been tough. They can't beat the Saints. That they have to get by the Saints at some point if they're going to go
Yeah,
anywhere.
that's true.
So, and that's without Breeze. So at least for one of those games. So it's really tough. But yeah, with the Patriots, they the remaining schedule, after this week, it's the Dolphins, which is another huge game. These next 2 games are huge. Tonight, I'm saying, and the next game are huge. If they have to win those. They have to win out, but like to have any hope, you already have to win those 2 games. And then they got the Bills. You have to win that. You're not going to take the division away from the Bills, but it's just a must win. And then the Jets. Obviously, the Jets are the Jets. So you could go 1-3 over the next 4 games, which is really tough to say. You could finish this season, what's that, 7-9?
Right.
That's gross. That's not what I expected. Even with this roster, I think that was my worst case scenario, 7-9.
I think I expected that before we signed Cam Newton.
Oh, for sure.
So like that's what I thought we were gonna head towards, like a 7-9 kind of season. When we signed Cam, I definitely had my hopes up because I really did believe that was gonna turn it around. And for the first few games, it looked like it's like right where we left off.
Right.
Same team, just different guy at quarterback, and Cam was really playing really well. But obviously, we know that's hasn't been the trend. It's been pretty inconsistent so far. I mean, a lot of stuff has happened this year. Is obviously like very different from years of the past. I think when he was out with COVID, from there they just kind of got off rhythm, like being away from the team and stuff. Like I think a lot of chemistry might have been lost, and they just couldn't really ever get it back to what it was in the beginning of the season.
Right. And I hate to say it, but with how inconsistent he's been and how frustrating it is to watch him play, imagine it with those other guys. If they couldn't beat him out for the job,
right,
what was it going to look? We saw it against the Chiefs that one game. It was the Chiefs. That's a really tough game. But even against a team like the Jets, what were those guys going to look like?
Yeah.
And the future's really tough to predict too. We thought it was Stidham. Now they might have to just clean house. I don't see a future with Jared Stidham. This guy gave up. This guy, as soon as Cam Newton signed, this guy went and bought a house in Texas. Like, that was the first thing on his mind.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the news that came out over the offseason. So,
that's crazy.
He wasn't even the backup. It was Hoyer. So, I can't see a future with him. The future with the Patriots is really frustrating to think about because with these wins that they have had, it's again, where's the direction? Without Bill, this team might be in the top 5 for the draft picks. Without Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And that's the coach.
Right.
That's how bad this roster is.
I know.
So
on paper, I don't even know half the guys. I'm being completely honest.
Izzo, I think, today he just got put on the IR. He was like the starting time. Ryan Izzo. What?
I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I didn't even know who that was.
Yeah.
I did not know that that guy was even on our starting line.
Rob Gronkowski to Ryan
He was
Izzo.
a starter?
Yeah. The rookies weren't ready. That's the other thing. Bill drafts these guys. Like, I love Damian Harris. He's really picked it up. I love Damian Harris. But it took a whole year. Like, that's a 3rd-round pick you invested last year. Right. Where's the other guys? N'Keal Harry's 1st-round pick. Where is he?
Our offensive picks for like those early rounds, they never pan out.
Right.
Ever. We thought Sony Michel,
So we drafted Sony Michel over
first
Nick
year,
Chubb,
he looked good.
Oh, right, yeah.
He looked good.
Huge in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Huge. Especially the Super Bowl against the Rams.
But since then, it's just been injury after injury, just inconsistent play, and now he doesn't even have like that job anymore.
That draft,
where a rookie running back is outplaying him.
Right.
So
that draft, we passed on Lamar Jackson twice, the Patriots, and then they passed on Calvin Ridley and Nick Chubb. They drafted Sony Michel, who went to college with Nick Chubb. The wrong running back. Nick Chubb is killing it on the Browns of all teams. They're good this year, but he's been killing it.
Wasn't Nick Chubb ahead on the depth chart?
He was.
So why would they draft Sony over him?
Sony was known as like the pass catcher in college, which is really ironic because he can't catch anything with us. But Nick Chubb's catching everything with the Browns. Guy's killing it. It's things like that. There's only so many times, and I've told like group chats with like my fantasy draft classes and like all that. There's only so many draft picks, especially early on, that you can miss. You might as well not like make those picks. Like, where's Juwan Williams, 2nd-round pick? You don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who that is.
2nd-round pick last year, secondary. Where is he? I like Kyle Duggar. I didn't like that pick at the time. He started to pick it up, but it's just not enough. It's not enough.
Where we got him, he was a good pick.
Right. But then where's everyone else? We drafted Josh Uche. We drafted the David Asiasi and all these Dalton Keene. Where are all these guys? These guys are, if you're 2nd or 3rd round pick, especially on the Patriots, I expect you, when there's on top of it, no one ahead of you on the depth chart, realistically, Ryan Izzo is ahead of you on the depth
Right.
chart. I want to see you do stuff. I don't want to see you just sitting on the bench. You're a third-round pick. Come on.
Yeah, you got to have some value. Even coming out in your first season, in the NFL, you got to have some sort of contribution to the team, especially with a thin roster. So it's like there's not like these stud guys ahead of you that are like ready to go right now. Like if you can't make an impact on this roster, like that's very telling on like the talent that we actually do have.
Exactly.
So which is concerning going forward as a Patriots fan, but
yeah, so that's what it is, with the future and the current state with the Patriots. The game tonight is definitely going to be telling. Like I said, I think it's going to look something like, if the Patriots are going to win, it's going to have to look something like the Super Bowl a couple years ago against the same team. Heavy defense, heavy special teams, and all that. That's what it's going to take to win tonight. And they can do it. It's just, are they going to do it? That's the real question.
right.
They're capable. I just don't know. I am concerned. I'm against Robert Woods, like, all over the place. I'm against Jared Goff and Robert Woods.
Who else you playing? Who are you playing again?
I'm playing in our league. So George and I are in one league. I'm in 4 leagues. George and I are in one together.
I can only do one.
Yeah.
I can't do more than one.
That's the thing that makes it so miserable about fantasy football when you do multiple leagues. You're literally like, you have a guy and then you're against a guy, or you're against him in 2 other leagues, or you have him here.
Right.
And
it's like which league do you care about more?
Exactly. That's
the one that's more money.
Right. That's what it comes down to. Like, I envy you that you're in one league because I can't help myself.
I'm the champ, by the way.
He's the defending
Put some
champ.
respect
Defending
on my
champ.
name. Defending champ.
Back in the playoffs. Hopefully that 1 seed curse. Our league that we're in, Degenerate Fantasy Football League.
Yo, that name is crazy.
There's been a first place regular season curse for, I don't even know, 5-6 years, and I'm the first seed naturally, and my team's falling apart in front of my eyes. So
it's every year.
I can't figure it out. I don't know what it is. So hopefully I can break that curse. But yeah, like the person I'm playing this week has Jared Goff tonight. I don't think he's made a change as of last time I checked, which I wasn't really expecting because I wouldn't start Jared Goff, but you do you, I guess. In another league, I'm against Robert Woods. I have nobody on the Patriots or the Rams on my teams, and I'm not going against any Patriots, which I love. I hate going against Patriots players. That's the worst.
Me too. I mean, I wouldn't mind going against them this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, in certain weeks, yeah. But it's just like you hate cheering against. I watch with my dad. I'm like, Myers gets a catch, and I'm like, oh, and he's like, I'm going to hit you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I won't forget. I won't forget one time your dad. I think it was a Super Bowl that you had. They had a bunch of us over. This guy was literally ready to throw some shit at the fucking at the TV. Guy's a legend. Shout out, Pops.
Vinny Senior. Yeah, no, that's the worst. Are you going against any Rams or Patriots, or you have any?
No,
I don't think so.
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
I got nothing for tonight, so
yeah,
I can just sit back and just enjoy the game.
Yeah, thankfully.
Hopefully enjoy the game.
I like going against the players that are going against the Patriots because then it's just like cheering against them more. But it's just as frustrating when they score. But yeah, what do you think? How do you expect to do in the playoffs this year? I know you're the 6th seed going against the 3
six seed. I mean, last year I won it all as the 8th seed,
right?
Or was it the 7th seed? I'm not sure.
It was one of those.
It was one of those bottom seeds. Just barely came to the playoffs.
It took me out in the 2nd round.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I had to do it.
It is what it is.
I had to do it.
Gotta
get that money. but no, I'm playing a couple good guys. So the guys that like I worry about that I'm going up against is, well, now McCaffrey's out, which
huge,
which is a huge relief but the guy does have Mike Davis. So I mean, Mike Davis, I'm not too worried about playing him, even though he has been a good backup to McCaffrey this year. If Mike Davis beats me in the playoffs, shit, he beat me. I don't care. It's Mike Davis at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's tough.
But
his receivers are great though.
Yes, I mean,
Diggs.
I'm playing a good receiving core, definitely Stephon Diggs. Mike Evans.
He came up hurt today on the thing though.
And he's got one more.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one that scares me.
Right. He's a really good match.
I'm not too worried about Diggs. I have Josh Allen.
Right.
So if Diggs does well, I mean, hopefully Josh Allen is doing well. But yeah, AJ Brown is the guy that I worry about. This guy, you never know. He just has that like blow up factor. Like he's like the other week he returned a touchdown. Like there's not many receivers that put up numbers like him in the league that like you worry about returning a kick for a touchdown. So
Right.
like having a guy like that on the opposite end does worry me. But that's pretty much it. That's like his receiving core is scary because you know any of those guys could give you 20
Right.
if they go off, and if I get unlucky and those guys are just dropping points like that, obviously it's gonna be very tough to win.
Right.
But I also have players like that on my side, like where Kamara, you never know what you're gonna get from Kamara. Jonathan Taylor has been going upward trend. My receivers are pretty nice too. I mean, Mike Thomas, you hope that he can put together a good game. Julio Jones, back and forth right now with the injury, but he looked very healthy last week. And then I got Hollywood Brown, which I mean 2 touchdowns in a row. So
Yeah.
you hope that trend continues. He has a soft matchup. Who are they playing? They're playing Cleveland. So
Monday Night Football.
yep. And I think Denzel Ward is out.
I think so.
So I mean that's a good matchup for them right there.
Right.
And then I got CD Lamb as my flex, which
Anything can happen.
I mean
with that
he
guy.
hasn't been doing that great since they lost Dak. He had like a few games where he scored and he was like putting up over 10 points. But it's a revenge game for Dalton. They're playing the Bengals.
Cincy.
So I'm
It's a
like
really
kind
bad
of
team.
banking on that. And
Yeah.
since he's terrible,
Right.
they're not going to be able to move the ball. They'll give Dallas enough. I'm actually even starting Dallas D. I had Pittsburgh D all year, but they're playing the Bills, and I'm not trying to put Josh Allen against
Your own
against my own
Right.
defense. So
Yeah. I think I'm starting the Cowboys somewhere too. Their defense, but we're just going for it at that point. Honestly.
what about you? Who are the guys that are like, I don't want to play them
In our league, so I'm again, like I said, I'm the 1st seed and I play the 8th seed. And it wasn't too long ago. I think that this particular person was the 8th seed like 2 years ago, and they upset the 1st seed then. So now they're the 8th seed again. I'm in that spot. They got Dalvin, so that's always scary. He has a tough matchup, but it's still Dalvin. It's like he's like almost matchup proof at this point. Myles Gaskin is pretty good. Darren Waller just came off like the greatest week ever for him, pretty much. So we'll see how
he
he
had like
does.
40 points. What do you have?
30,
30
34,
something?
32, something like that. So it's tough. His receivers aren't great. He's got Devontae Parker, Michael Pittman, and just like a couple of other guys. My receivers aren't too much better. I got D-Hop. I got Brandon Ayuk and Jerry Jeudy. I'm kind of just throwing Jerry Jeudy in there as a necessity at this point. And then my running backs I like a lot more. I got Nick Chubb. They don't have great matchups, Nick Chubb and Austin Eckler, but they're great running backs, so I'm hoping they can just kind of just do their thing. I got Evan Ingram at tight end, and I got Gio Bernard at my flex, and my QB's Herbert. So if Herbert and Eckler can like connect on at least one touchdown,
What are they playing?
Atlanta. So that's
a good matchup.
That could be a shootout. But yeah, that
Atlanta's crazy. Sometimes they put together like great defensive performances out of nowhere.
they do, but they're on the road, so that's a lot tougher for them. So that could be a shootout. That could literally be like a 20 to 30s kind of game. But yeah, I mean, good luck.
I hope for that because I want Julio.
Yeah,
I need Julio for that.
Exactly. I wish you luck. I want to play you again. I need to get my revenge for last year.
I'm actually playing the same guy that I took out last year. He knows who he is. I won't drop his name. I don't want to embarrass the man, but you know, I took him out. He was number 1 seed. It's gonna happen again, my friend. I'm sorry. I had to do it to you. Try to get to this bag.
I'm just trying. Honestly, if I end the curse of the number 1 seed, I might just take that, even if I lose in the next round. I might just take that and be happy with it.
Yeah, you broke the curse.
Yeah.
That's good enough, right?
Yeah.
But no, we got maybe I'll see you in the championship.
I hope so. I know it's a reseeding league, so I don't know how it would work. We need certain things to go, but I wish you luck. I hope I can either play you next round or
Wish you luck too.
I usually do my rankings. I guess I'll just throw them out there real quick. Quarterback, Russell Wilson versus the Jets, Pat Mahomes versus the Dolphins, Aaron Rodgers versus the Lions, Justin Herbert versus the Falcons, Lamar Jackson versus the Browns, Ryan Tannehill against the Jags, Kyler Murray against the Giants, Ben Roethlisberger against the Bills, Tom Brady with the Vikings against the Vikings, and Josh Allen versus the Steelers. I'd say that's pretty much what it's been recently. With running backs, Derrick Henry versus the Jags, Aaron Jones versus the Lions, Dalvin Cook and the Bucks, James Robinson versus the Titans. Nick Chubb versus the Ravens. Chris Carson against the Jets. Austin Eckler against the Falcons. David Montgomery, never expect to see him up here, against the Texans. Jonathan Taylor against the Raiders. And Alvin Kamara against the Eagles. I was a little worried about Kamara for a couple weeks there, but he showed out a little bit last week. And the Eagles are awful, so let's be real here. With the receivers, I got Devontae Adams, obviously number 1 against the Lions. DK Metcalf, number 2 against the Jets. Tyreek Hill, number 3 against the Dolphins. A.J. Brown, number 4 against the Jags. Number 5, Keenan Allen with the Falcons. Number 6, DeAndre Hopkins versus the Giants. Number 7, Julio Jones versus the Chargers. Number 8, Calvin Ridley versus the Chargers. Number 9, Tyler Lockett versus the Jets. And number 10, Adam Thielen versus the Bucks. With tight end, I got Travis Kelce versus the Dolphins. Darren Waller versus the Colts. TJ Hawkinson versus the Packers. Hunter Henry versus the Falcons. Robert Tonyan versus the Lions. Rob Gronkowski versus the Vikings. Evan Ingram versus the Cardinals. Mark Andrews, coming off COVID. He's a little low there, but who knows how he's going to play, versus the Browns. Eric Ebron at number 9 versus the Bills. And Mike Gesicki versus the Chiefs at 10. And then with defense and special teams, we got Seattle versus the Jets. New Orleans versus the Eagles. The Rams versus the Patriots. I hate to do that to us, but there really aren't a lot of options. Tampa Bay versus the Vikings. San Francisco versus Washington. Kansas City versus the Dolphins. Washington versus 49ers. Oh, yeah, okay. I just confused myself. Defense against defense. Carolina versus the Broncos. Baltimore versus the Browns. And Tennessee versus the Jags. And then number 1 with the kickers, Younghoe Koo. Been killing it all year. That's my guy. Number 2, Harrison Butker. 3, Justin Tucker. 4, Will Lutz. 5, Jason Myers. 6, Ryan Suckup. 7, Rodrigo Blankenship. 8, Jason Sanders. 9, Daniel Carlson. And 10, Steven Gostkowski. I usually do the waiver wire rankings, but that was yesterday, and it was delayed because of the COVID games. But at
there's
this
nothing
point,
really there right now at this point in the season.
That's one thing I was going to say. The other thing is, like, if you've made it this far, you don't really need my help anymore. I've gotten you this far. Maybe I haven't gotten you this far. You've gotten yourself this far. I don't think you need my help telling you to pick up Ty Johnson off waivers. Like, if that's the guy you need, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble going to the playoffs. So, yeah, bro, I appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
Of course. Thanks for having me. And hope to hop on in the future as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping to start up basketball soon. Maybe either the next one or the one after that with the NBA starting up real soon. So
yeah, definitely. So yeah, bring me on for that too.
Sounds great. I know Gabe wants to do that too.
Yeah,
so.
Shout out G. We'll get him on the next one.
Word. Sounds good. Again, thank you, bro. I appreciate this opportunity.
Of course, brother.
All right.